ASEAN must ensure COVID-19 vaccine affordable, accessible to all. Travel fairs, MICE venues, reflexology centers to reopen on 1st July. Good evening and thanks for joining us. You're watching News on 2 and I'm Amin Carlos. Well, ASEAN member countries must ensure that the COVID-19 vaccine, when available, must be affordable, accessible and equitably shared for all. In making this call, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin today said as ASEAN endeavors to protect its populations against the serious threat of COVID-19, a vaccine is sorely needed. The Prime Minister said as of yesterday, more than 138,000 cases of COVID-19 have been reported in ASEAN, with over 4,000 deaths.
As we endeavor to protect our populations against the serious threat of COVID-19, a vaccine is sorely needed. While progress on the development of a vaccine and antiviral medicine has been encouraging, we must ensure that when the time comes, the vaccine must be affordable, accessible, and equitably shared for all.
The Prime Minister said Malaysia appreciates this initiative taken by Vietnam as ASEAN chair in convening today's summit via video conference against the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic. Malaysia is confident that under the able leadership of Vietnam, ASEAN will be able to achieve significant outcomes this year, notwithstanding the unprecedented circumstances surrounding COVID-19. Well, meanwhile, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said ASEAN governments must materialize cohesive plans to quickly implement measures for travel bubbles between green ASEAN member states. Well, he said the plan is crucial to shore up investments and create job opportunities for the people in the region. Green bubble or green lane concept involves easing travel restrictions between two or more countries where local COVID-19 infections and cases are low.
Possibly in the near future, we can also open up our borders for intra-ASEAN tourism to flourish and deliver the much-needed financial boost into our national economies. On that note, Malaysia also supports and shares the views of His Majesty the Sultan of Brunei Darussalam and the President of Indonesia that ASEAN officials should begin work on the establishment of an ASEAN travel bubble. As a first step, we can explore the possibility of sectoral exemptions for travel restriction, such as medical tourism or high-value economic visits.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said this at the 36th ASEAN Summit held virtually and hosted by Vietnam. The Premier joined the virtual summit from Putrajaya. Tan Sri Muhyiddin also stressed that the public health crisis has had profound impacts on the economy and rebooting the regional economy must be ASEAN's utmost priority to mitigate disruptions to trade and strengthen the resilience of our regional supply chains. Well, Malaysia recorded 23 recoveries from COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of those still being treated to 191. Now, Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah at the ministry's briefing today said there have only been 6 new cases, while the death toll remains at 121. Dr. Nur Hisham said out of the 6 new cases, 5 were imported, being 4 Malaysians and 1 non-Malaysian, with 1 local transmission involving a Malaysian. He said COVID-19 active cases with infectivity potential dipped below 200 today for the first time since the Movement Control Order, the MCO, was introduced on 18th March.
Tiada kes kematian COVID-19 dilaporkan sejak 12 hari yang lalu. Justru jumlah kes aktif dengan kebolehjangkitan COVID-19 semakin menurun setiap hari. Untuk pertama kali sejak Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan dikuatkuasakan, kes aktif adalah kurang daripada 200 pada hari ini.
2 COVID-19 patients remain in intensive care unit, the ICU, with none of them on ventilator.
Jumlah cumulative kes yang telah pulih
The government has decided to allow the reopening of more tourism subsectors to spur the local tourism industry. Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said that meetings, incentives, conventions and exhibition or MICE sector, along with trade fairs and foot reflexology have all been given permission to resume operations beginning next Wednesday.
Bagi subsektor meetings, mesyuarat, insentif, convention dan exhibition dan juga travel dan trade fair, SOP-nya adalah kita hanya membenarkan 250 orang setiap masa, dan kepada semua pengunjung juga perlu memuat turun aplikasi MySejahtera bagi pendaftaran masuk.
However, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said only Malaysian employees are allowed to work at the spas, wellness and reflexology centres while maintaining all existing regulations and SOPs like temperature screenings and providing hand sanitizers. He added that these employees must also undergo COVID-19 screening tests before being allowed to work at these centres. On another note, the senior minister said all registered tahfiz schools and madrasah have been allowed to resume operations on the date of the reopening of schools, which will be announced by the Education Ministry soon. And Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri added that the special ministerial meeting today also agreed to allow tuition centres, special education schools and private education institutions to resume operations.
Sekolah dan madrasah tahfiz yang berdaftar saja yang dibenarkan dibuka dan perlu mematuhi SOP yang ditetapkan oleh Kementerian Pelajaran Malaysia. Sekolah dan madrasah tahfiz yang mempunyai kemudahan asrama perlu mengikut SOP sekolah asrama yang ditetapkan.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said unregistered tahfiz and madrasah institutions must first register with the state religious authorities before resuming their operation. He also said that surahs in schools can now be used during the school session as long as the SOP is complied with, including the requirement for social distancing. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also said that the government has decided to lift the restrictions on clothes and shoe fittings in retail outlets and malls. He said the decision was made after the government was informed that no cases of COVID-19 have been reported in shopping malls since the reopening of the economic sectors.
Maka mesyuarat hari ini bersetuju untuk membenarkan fitting pakaian termasuk kasut di premis-premis penjual pakaian siap. Jadi dah bolehlah kita nak mencuba baju baru yang kita beli di fitting room dan sebagainya. Jadi tak timbullah beli baju terbesar ke terkecil ke, tak timbul dah. Jadi kita boleh benarkan. Jadi tak timbul isu. Cuma untuk kasut, nak membeli kasut, kita galakkan kalau boleh sebaik-baiknya menggunakan stokin sendiri.
Well, local startup companies as well as small and medium enterprise or SME entrepreneurs are encouraged to apply for the 100 million ringgit grant through the National Technology and Innovation Sandbox or NTIS initiative from the Penjana program. The Science, Technology and Innovation Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the NTIS initiative is one of the government's efforts to empower the digital industry, especially to overcome issues due to COVID-19. According to Khairi, the NTIS initiative could help improve the food security program through the use of smart farming procedure and expand new innovation potential by using drone technology for industrial purposes.
Kalau kita nak perkembangkan industri drone, yang mana kita mempunyai sebuah syarikat drone yang merupakan top 3 di dunia, ada banyak peraturan yang berkaitan dengan ruang udara yang masih lagi menjadi kekangan kepada drone.
Khairi also expressed his confidence that the Penjana incentive would be able to restore the country's economic growth. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah's concern over the safety and health of teachers and students has prompted him to personally check on the level of compliance with Recovery Movement Control Order (RMCO) Standard Operating Procedures (SOP) and the face-to-face teaching and learning or PDP process at Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Danau Kota, Kuala Lumpur today. Accompanied by his son, Tengku Muhammad Iskandar Riayatuddin Shah, the King arrived at the school at 10 a.m. and was welcomed by Senior Minister of Education, Dr. Razzie Jiddin, and officials from the Education Ministry and Federal Territories Education Department. Well, upon arrival, His Majesty also had his body temperature checked and his hands sanitized using hand sanitizer from a step-on dispenser invented by one of the students at the school. Now, the King was then given a briefing on the implementation of the Ministry's school reopening management guidelines and the new normal that needs to be embraced by all teachers, students and parents to contain the spread of COVID-19. Al-Sultan Abdullah also visited the school canteen, science lab and sewing workshop before joining a number of students to eat in the classroom while being briefed on the SOP during recess by the teacher. Meanwhile, Comptroller of Royal Household of Istana Negara, Dato' Ahmad Fadil Samsudin, said Al-Sultan Abdullah has expressed appreciation to the Education Ministry, school administrators and all the teachers for their proper preparations to ensure the safety of students and to prevent the risk of COVID-19 transmission at school. And time for the price at the pump. Now, RON 97 and RON 95 will go up by 10 cents, while diesel will increase by 9 cents per litre for the period of 27th June to 3rd July. Well, according to a statement from the Ministry of Finance today, the weekly retail pricing of petroleum products is based on the automatic pricing mechanism or APM formula. Now, the statement said the new price of RON 97 is set at RM1.99 per litre, RON 95 RM1.69 per litre, and diesel RM1.86 per litre. The increase is due to changes in refined product prices in line with current crude oil prices. Now, the statement added that the government will continue to monitor the impact of global crude oil price change and take appropriate measures to ensure the welfare and well-being of the people. Well, there is no need to call for snap polls as the government needs to focus on resolving issues affecting the rakyat first. Barisan Nasional Secretary General Tan Sri Anwar Musa said UMNO and BN had reiterated their support for Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin to continue helming the government as part of the loose coalition known as Perikatan Nasional. His minister said the government of the day is functioning well and there is no issue with it being unstable.
Buat masa ini tidak berbangkit soal membubarkan parlimen sebab kita sudah ada Perdana Menteri, kita sudah ada kerajaan dan tak timbul juga soal ketidakstabilan. Saya tengok kerajaan ini adalah mantap, jumlah sokongan semakin bertambah, jumlah kerusi pun makin bertambah sebab ada yang menyeberang dan memberi sokongan kepada Perikatan Nasional dan menjadi bebas dan sebagainya. Jadi pada saya ketidakstabilan buat masa ini tidak berbangkit.
He added the rakyat were fatigued due to the endless politicking. Tan Sri Anwar was responding to a call by UMNO Deputy President Datuk Sri Mohamad Hassan yesterday for Parliament to be dissolved to make way for a snap general election as the country was facing political instability. Tan Sri Anwar said the Rantau Assemblyman's call was his personal opinion and did not reflect the official stand of UMNO and Barisan Nasional. On another matter, Tan Sri Anwar said the decision on the proposed redevelopment of Kampung Baru will be known by 30th June. The Federal Territories Minister said the Kampung Baru Development Corporation of PKB had been told to produce a report detailing the plans as well as feedback from the landowners by month's end. He said it remains crucial whether the plan proposed by the previous administration is viable or not, as 61% of landowners have agreed to the plan.
Saya telah meminta semalam kepada Perbadanan Kampung Baru untuk menyediakan satu laporan update kepada apa-apa yang dirancangkan sebelum daripada ini dan supaya mereka membuat suatu pengesyuran ataupun perakuan apakah idea-idea yang diwar-warkan sebelum daripada ini boleh diteruskan ataupun tidak tanpa saya mencampuri ataupun membawa benda-benda yang lain yang boleh dianggapkan sebagai nantinya timbul salah faham.
Last year, Tan Sri Anwar's predecessor Khalid Abdul Samad announced the plan to redevelop the Malay enclave. The plan involved acquiring the plots of land from over 5,300 landowners at 1,000 ringgit per square feet, with 150 ringgit to be paid in the form of shares in a special purpose vehicle that would be set up. Police have detained 372 skippers or tekongs involved in smuggling illegal immigrants into the country during Op Benteng. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Badur said 80 investigation papers have been sent to the Deputy Public Prosecutor's Office for further action. Tan Sri Abdul Hamid said these 80 skippers will be charged soon.
Dalam masa terdekat ini 80 daripada mereka akan didakwa. Kertas siasatan telah pun berada di pejabat peguam negara dan perbincangan di antara pegawai-pegawai penyiasat telah pun dijalankan dan saya difahamkan dalam masa terdekat ini 80 daripada 372 ini akan dibawa ke muka pengadilan, akan didakwa.
He said this after witnessing the handing over of duties of the Commercial CID Director in Bukit Aman today. Commercial CID Deputy Director Dato' Saiful Azli Kamaruddin took over as Commercial CID Acting Director from Dato' Sri Muhammad Zakaria Ahmad, who went on mandatory retirement. Op Benteng has been activated since May under the National Task Force, or NTF, in collaboration with the Armed Forces, Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, Ministry of Health, Civil Defence Force, Immigration Department and People's Volunteer Corps, RELA. On the arrest of 3 immigration officers suspected of being involved in the smuggling of foreigners in Johor, Tan Sri Abdul Hamid said police would investigate from every angle. On Tuesday, a senior officers and 2 officers aged between 30 and 48 were arrested at Pasir Gudang Ferry Terminal in Johor Bahru. And with that, we conclude this evening's News On 2. In our top story, ASEAN must ensure COVID-19 vaccine affordable, accessible to all. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Amin Carlos. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.